In today's show, we have the one and only Justus coming in for our Mindset with Justus section. And he's going to be going over why your gods are killing you and your business. And so tune in to this excellent mastermind.
So today we're going to talk about the two gods that you have to kill as entrepreneurs, as leaders, as business people. As I was brainstorming and thinking through what you guys need, whether you have a business or not, whether your business is massive or it's small, if you could take away some of these things today, I think your life is going to be so much better. All right. And I really want to start the story. One of my clients now, one of my one-on-one clients now that lives here in Austin, I actually started by working for them. And we're growing a little real estate company. And actually, before I worked for him, I was a consultant. So I consulted for him. And then we saw through the consulting relationship, hey, maybe you should come on board and help our team. And I came on board and it was great. Learned a lot about real estate. If you have any questions about Austin real estate, let me know. Bottom line, it's expensive. So one of the things that we really focused on at the beginning was like, why are you stuck? Meaning his business was doing about 6 million in transactions, which came about to like around, I don't know, he was doing well enough. It was just him and his brother running the company. And so my first 30 days just consulting with him was trying to figure out through different relationships, business partnerships, his wife, how does this person lead? Like we did a deep dive. If you guys have ever heard of 360 feedback, that's where you ask everyone around them, how is this person as a leader? And you give them full permission to be brutally honest about their leadership. And the goal is not to like vent or blah, blah, blah. The goal is that this person, it's really hard for the person at the top to know how they're actually doing. Why? Because no one wants to get fired. Like the main thing, no one wants to get fired, and your friends that are close to you want to be your friends. And so most people, 99% of people are risk averse and they don't want to risk relationships. They don't want to, because they don't know how this person's going to respond. Even in the feedback, most people were too nice. So I had to dig and dig. What's the issue? What's the issue? Hear me. This guy wanted to grow. He wanted to have a massive real estate business. And he meant it. He wouldn't have hired me if not. And he hired me multiple times, even after I was done working with him, just to consult and come in and look at his business. And at every single level, this was the issue. Most of the times that you see an issue in your life, whether you're leading, working for a company, whatever, marriage, I see this in marriage all of the time. Most of the time, what you're seeing as problems are only symptoms. That's almost 100% of the time. What you're feeling, what you're seeing, what you think is the issue, and until we can dig into the root. And at the root of a lot of these clients and people I work with, there's a God that they have to kill. There's an idol. There's something they worship, whether they want to worship it or not. There's an idol that they put on a pedestal, and they would never tell you that that's what it is because they don't know. Most people have no idea. Even bad bosses, whenever I would consult or reach in and figure something out, most of them didn't even think that they were bad. All they saw was my team's not executing. What needs to change about my team? And a lot of times it's like, what needs to change about you? So the first one is the God that they have made themselves. We call this the Messiah complex. The Messiah complex says, if I don't do it, then someone else is going to do it poorly, and I'm the best to do it. I am the absolute best. They don't say it in that way, but their actions show it. A lot of the symptoms are the team around them is not growing in their skill set because they don't want to mess it up. So they just let the person at the top figure it out. So the person at the top rarely is actually the boss. He's not actually working on the business. He's constantly working in the business. All right. So for the real estate guy that I was working for, he saw, and this happens all the time, I'm here to provide a business for my brother. Even if my brother's performing poorly, I am here. And if he can't get a job with me, he won't have a job. He won't be able to do this. I am the provider. It's me. We see this when I was a pastor. We'd see this in addiction relationships, tons of enablement. In marriages, we saw a lot of wives would cover for their husbands being absolute idiots because they didn't want their husband to grow up. So they covered all the bases. So the husband acted like a child and continued to act like a child. Why? Because if I am not doing it, how will they ever take care of themselves? And when I talk about these people, I want you to understand these are good people. These are great people. These are people you'd want to have a beer with. These are people that you'd want on your team. These are amazing, talented, amazing people. These are people that give a large chunk of their money to nonprofits. Their hearts are so pure. But here's the deal with the real estate company. As we dug in more and more, I started seeing feedback from the clients that all centered around one person, the brother. Was the brother a bad person? Absolutely not. He was a sweetheart. He was doing his best, but the company had outgrown him. And that brother was the ceiling to the business's growth. But if I let him go, where's he going to get a job? That's not your problem.
Hey, it's Dr. Travis Ziegler, and I wanted to thank you for watching this video. I just wanted to take a brief couple seconds to let you know about a free Amazon PPC masterclass that I have. Just head to profitablepineapple.com to sign up for that free Amazon PPC masterclass, or you can click the link down below in the description. I'll see you inside.
My mother-in-law, if she doesn't get home by 6, my father-in-law is calling, freaking out because he doesn't know how to make dinner. She has positioned herself as the Messiah. She will say she hates it, but if she was to tell him, you got to figure out dinner, this is the last week from now on. If you need help figuring out how to cook some beans, let me know, but the instructions are on the bag. She's the Messiah. She has a Messiah complex, and I love her. She's great, okay? It took this guy 2 months to let go of his brother, and it happened on accident because he lets his brother control his emails in this position that he was in. So his brother saw an email from me going, hey, when are you going to have the talk with your brother? So he goes, what talk is Justus talking about? He tells him, let me tell you 2 things that have happened. His brother that had been single forever now lives in another town, is happily married, fired up. And my friend's business is at, I think they did 30 million in transactions last year. It's been 4 years. They went from 3 million in transactions to 30 million in transactions. Yeah, only 30. The thing was, he had to realize that he's not responsible for his brother's well-being. His brother is an adult. There are ways in which we do this with our kids. There are ways that we do this with our businesses. There are ways that we do this with our husbands, our wives, our boyfriends, everything, where we are limiting our growth as leaders. This isn't just personnel. So here's the question that I have for you. What is the thing that you think you control that only you can do, that you are God over in your business or in your life, that you need to go, this is not my responsibility. This person's not my responsibility. This thing can go to somebody else. What is it that you need to let go of? I do this with my kids all the time. I would be surprised if my friend at every level he brought me in, it was always this. It was a place where he had built himself up to be the only person that knows how to do this thing. This also affected hiring extraordinary talent. Where is it in my business that I think I am the Messiah, the provider, the creator, the all-knowing? There's someone 100 times better than you. You just haven't met them yet because you haven't given this thing up, okay? At the end of this, I'll give you the exact solution for it, which you guys will like. The next thing is the God of control as the second God you have to destroy, okay? I'll share another story. I know a guy right now who is the CEO of $1 million software business, $1 million education business, CEO, and is the owner of $1 million Amazon business. When we have a meeting, if someone says this needs to get done, guess who's the first person to say, I'll figure it out? The CEO of the $1 million software business, the CEO of the $1 million education business, and the $1 million Amazon business. And when we show up for meetings and I see him, guess who's the most stressed out person on the call? This guy needs to control everything, because if he can't control it, something bad can or will happen. If you have a hard time delegating or asking for help, you worship control. If you have to be reminded over and over and over again, hey, I could do this for you. Hey, do you want some help? Hey, give that away. This is an idol of yours. This isn't permission to be irresponsible. It's an idol. The person that's free of this expects for things to go wrong and hedges for it. Maybe the best thing for me to do is share with you guys at different stages. I've seen people launching businesses. I've seen people running businesses that are doing pretty good. And I've worked with people that have exited businesses. And at each level, they struggle with this. At the beginning, you're launching. What is the number one thing? Put it in the chat that you need when you're launching a business. What is the absolute most important thing for you? I think a lot of audience in there. It's sales. What should you be willing to do to get a sale at the beginning of a business? Randy nailed it. I still remember talking with the doc. I go, what do you focus on at the beginning of launching y'all business? He goes, I woke up every day going, how do I get a sale? I was like, cool. What? I see this with the most successful people. That is hyper focused at the beginning of the business. I'll do anything. I just have to get sales. You know why? Because you got to get sales momentum. You got to get sales velocity. Most of the people with Amazon businesses that drop out way too early are focused on profit. So 2 months in, they're like, they're not profitable. Do you have sales velocity? Because that will tell you that later on you will have profit. You're doing everything and anything to get sales. So where does control come in? Well, at the beginning, when you start getting sales velocity, you need to start pivoting a little bit to customer service and customer experience. But what ends up happening, instead of delegating, instead of asking people for help, what you do is you try to do both. Then what happens is you burn out. So you never get to the phase of management because you're like, it's not worth it. Because you're writing thank you cards that go and get inserts and get in this thing, and you're talking with this person, and you're talking with the supplier, and you're trying to get sales, and you're trying to do a blah, 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 blah. 3 months in, it's not worth it, not profitable, shut down the business. I was talking with another like 7-figure Amazon business owner, and we're doing a coaching call with some of these Amazon business owners, and they were like, I only got 60 sales in the first month. It's looking like it's going to be another 60 sales in the second month. We're like, when did you launch? 2 months ago. We're like, and he's like, I'm about to close it down because it's not profitable. And I'm running out of money. We were like, hold on. Go Uber and put some money, do whatever you got to do. Work overtime. Do whatever you got to do and push money into this. You have sales velocity. Burn himself out. I'm trying to control this. I'm trying to control PPC spend. I'm controlling customer experience. I'm writing thank you cards, inserts, this, Facebook, all of it. I'm trying to control everything. Can't ask for help. We had a breakthrough in one of the groups I was in where the lady was getting sales velocity, but she was tired, ready to give up. She was like crying on the phone on this coaching call. Oh, I just can't do it. We put so much money and we've been saving and oh my gosh. And I'm like, yes. Okay, great. So who's helping you? Well, I just need to be the one that does it. I've been doing this for so long. I'm the only one that knows how these things work. Okay. Why don't you ask for help? Who? Do you have any friends? Have them over for a packing party. Have them over for whatever. Maybe that's what I need. I'll try. 2 weeks later, you won't believe it. I cast a vision to these ladies and they're going to come help me. And now I'm free to just focus on doing this one thing. I'm not even paying them that much money. They're just so thankful that I would ask because they've been watching me build this business and I've never asked for help. Business is growing now. Business is doing good. They're getting sales. They're continuing to get sales. She gave up control. You're getting sales. You're taking care of your customers. You're doing good. You're averaging, 50 sales a day. What does your focus need to be now? And it's going up. Where does your focus need to go? The chat. I love it. Yep. What would you guys say? The docs are speaking. They're like the only ones speaking. Hey, docs, what is the biggest distraction from more sales and marketing whenever you're running a business and you're actively seeing sales grow?
Everything else is a distraction because your first $1 million that you need to get to, you need to be focusing on how to sell more and you need to learn how to be a salesman. And until you do that, you should not be diversifying off of whatever sales channel you're using. You just need to focus on what got you there in the first place, what got that initial sales velocity, and repeat it over and over and over again.
What you've seen a ton of businesses. What do you see them focusing on that is like dumbfounding to you that you're like, oh my gosh?
I can't call that out on my channel. That'd be just terrible to do. But how about I reverse the question? So we've onboarded 2 clients recently, and there's a reason they have taken off like wildfire. And one of them was a brand new start. They had no products at all. They just had a vision, and we usually don't take on clients like that. And I just loved her energy, and I loved what she was doing. And this was in October, and she has released multiple products with a unique USP, and she's been doing that over and over again. She's up to 15 products already in 6 months, and she's already doing $40,000 a week. Here's the best part. I was like, where's your Shopify store? She's like, it's been in design for about 7 months, and I just haven't been satisfied with it. I was like, wait, so you don't even have a website yet? No, she was just focusing on Amazon and launching more products with her unique selling proposition. And she's launched 15. Out of those 15, there's probably 5 that are the best sellers, but she just keeps launching more SKUs. Business number 2, they went from 0 to 5 million in about 10 months. And I asked, how'd you guys do that? Oh, we just launched 400 SKUs. That's all they did. They just launched 400 SKUs. And so they learned how to sell, and they just kept repeating it over and over again with more and more products. They did not distract themselves with other stuff. They focused on one sales channel, one marketing method, and then multiple products in that area. Now, to go back to your other question.
Yes.
I see a lot of people try to diversify to Shopify before they've mastered Amazon. And so then they're stuck. So actually in July of this year, we're recording this in May, obviously, having somebody on that says why you should not diversify to Shopify. And he is a Shopify agency. So we're having him on in July. So that will be good. But you try to diversify your sales channels when you haven't even mastered the first one. And once you master the first one, that's when you can consider hiring somebody else to master the second one. Boom. And I want to call out one more because I'm on a roll here.
Dude, let's go.
There is somebody on this call, I won't name names, but he's smiling to himself right now, that has massive potential. He's already built multiple $1 million companies, but he gets shiny object syndrome. And that's been his downfall ever since I've known him. And now I'm getting him to focus on one thing, and he is owning that one thing. And it's a branch of our agency. And we are just starting, but I can see the energy shift in him. He still brings me shiny objects, and I still tell him, but what about this? And he goes right back to it. He's smiling right now behind his hand. I'm calling you out. But it's because I see the potential in him, and I've seen what he can do when he focuses. And so, like, tell him I believe in him. I know this is going to be huge. It's just a matter of focus. And the problem is we get distracted because it's not growing fast enough.
Boom.
Or
100%. Expectations and focus. Every single person on this call, when I work with this, like the 7 and the 8-figure people, they aren't smarter than you. Travis meets with a lot of them. I've maybe met 1 or 2 where I was like, okay, you're a genius. The rest of them, it's like, oh, you're like me. They had extreme focus, and they had good expectations, which all comes from the rooms that you get in. That have been ahead of you will help you set the right expectations for what you need to be looking for. The people in the middle stage, it is 100% what Tony said, shiny object syndrome. They think, their ego lets them think, I can do all things. I am the great entrepreneur. Hey world, call me the next Elon, here I come. I can do 3 businesses at a time, all on different platforms, and build them up. You're welcome. That is Messiah. You have to kill it. You have to kill it. All right. Now, he said something in there that's huge, which I think is for the 3rd level. So that's the people actively running, 7-figure, or they're really close to it and they're getting up there. Control tells them, I can't make it to the next level because in order to grow that, I would have to do X, Y, and Z, and that's just too much to control. So we're not going to do it. Someone that is not worshiping the God of control says, whose talents can I leverage to completely own this channel, this part of my department that's not working well? Who do I need to leave? My number one, like one of my number one focuses when I come in and I consult for somebody, back when I did, 1, what's the issue? 2, where's the talent? What are we doing with the talent? Where is talent missing? Let's put talent here. Someone that worships control will never even think about it because they're going to go, oh, another thing for me to do. I just don't have time for that.
Can I comment on that? Yeah.
Yes.
I think you cut out when you said yes, but
Oh.
So one of the reasons that we sold I Love when we did was because I saw the projection and the path to get it to the next level. We were doing around 4 million when we sold. And I didn't see us getting there with what we had at the time because Jen and I controlled the entire business. We had teams, we had a team, but we controlled it. Everything went through us. And so when I started building Profitable Pineapple, the one thing I made sure was to empower team leaders, directors, executives, whatever you want to call them, in each area of the business. And so with PPC, Jordan is that leader. With the nonprofit, Adam is becoming that leader. With the software, the inventory software, Randy is that person. And with Hangry Nut, Alex is that person. And what I've done is pretty much made it so they were the leaders. They are the owners in that space. I am here as a sounding board to help coach them to whatever they need to be coached through and help them, because we've made a lot of mistakes in business. My wife and I have, and even in this business I have. And so I want them to own that entity. It's almost like a separate entity inside Profitable Pineapple. And then in the process, we're elevating Jordan, which then all the account managers are now being elevated to a higher level as well. And then they're going to start owning people below them and being responsible for those results. And so I purposely built Profitable Pineapple around the lifestyle that I really wanted, but I also wanted to build it to empower people to essentially build their own business inside of Profitable Pineapple, because it's going to elevate everything. And so Adam's in control of one, Alex, Randy, Jordan, and then on their way ups now is, Tony, Christy, Melissa, Chris, all of them are on their way up to a leadership role as well in the organization. And so kind of how we're doing things in the Pineapple versus what we did in I Love. And we sold I Love, like I said, because I didn't see me being able to get us to the next level. And that control, I didn't want to hire anybody. And the number that came at me was good enough to say, okay, I'm okay to walk away from this.
I think this is like, some of you that are like, you might be hearing this and go, yeah, you had the $4 million, whatever. This applies to where you are right now. Before I move into like the cure for this, like, how do I stop worshiping these idols? I want to know where your business is at, just specifically for where your business is at. What is your focus? Put it in the chat. What is your number one focus?
If you enjoyed this video, you're going to love the Profitable Pineapple Farm. What is that? It's our weekly mastermind where we meet to discuss challenges in your businesses. We put you on the hot seat. We go over best practices and hacks. We go over mindset opportunities and much, much more. Head to profitablepineapplefarm.com to join us. Again, profitablepineapplefarm.com to join us. If we're not open at the time, just join the wait list.
JV relationships and leading the team. Sales. Leading the leaders. Sales. This is really helpful. Seems like it's sales. Alex, building the list, audience. I'm going to put that as like sales. What is Andrea's focus? Did she already put that in there? Or Ben's? Love it, Ben. So here's the, while Andrea's typing that, sales on group coaching. Awesome. Based on past experience, this is a question for everyone. Are you good at that? Just put it in there. Are you good at this? If you're not, that's great to know. And maybe the best way to put this is it easy? Yes, you have to work hard, but does it come easy? Are you a natural at the main thing? Do you feel like you have mastery over it? Adam, I'd say you're natural. Yes. If there's anything other than yes or no, make it yes or no. Thank you. There we go. We need to build up some confidence in Randy. He's a freaking beast. And he's like, yeah, if it's in front of me. And
you remember when you were talking about how you occasionally meet those people that are just absolute geniuses?
Yes.
Randy is that person.
We need to
I don't know about that.
You need to speak some more life and confidence. You need to own it. Let me speak to this real quick. The level at which you can own your gift is the level at which you're going to see results through it. Saying you're awesome at something.
Say that one more time.
The level at which you own, accept your gift is the level to which you will see results through it. This is why, and listen, I'm a Christian. This is one of the biggest faults inside the church. If you're like, man, you did a great job with this thing. They're like, yeah, but God just came through and he's like, you did it. I didn't see God picking up the shovel. You picked up the shovel. God gave you a gift. Own it.
Yeah.
It's all him, man. It's not all him. If it was all him, he wouldn't need you. Plus, if it was all him, he would have done a 20 times better job than you. All right. If you are not master of the thing, if you have not mastered this skill set that is the result that you're trying to get, what is keeping you from mastering it? So the question is, what needs to be true for you to master this thing over the next 6 months? Because I don't know if it's the same for you as it is for me, but once I know that I have to do something, it becomes a demand. It is no longer that would be nice, but some people, because you're comfortable, I'm going to go off on you guys. Some of you are so comfortable, your needs are met, there's food in your fridge, there's gas in your car, you got 2 TVs, your kids got a room, you don't have demands anymore. If your main thing right now is sales, is whatever, and you're going, that's going to get me to the next level, you need to stop playing nice. It needs to be a demand. And if it's sales, go out and crush. If you have the funds to hire an agency, to hire whatever, I highly recommend Profitable Pineapple. Go do it. Make the sacrifices. If you're like, hey man, like I'm an accountant. I hate people and I hate talking to people and I hate thinking about sales. I like organizing the sales that come in. Well, then stop eating out every night, put some money to the side, save, quit ordering so much stuff and put it towards hiring someone that can get you sales. So then the question is, what's going on? Do you guys feel clear? How many of you feel clear on the result you're supposed to be getting in the next 90 days? How many of you at the end of the 90 days have a meeting with yourself and go, why did or didn't you get X result? Hello. Because here's the cure to worshiping yourself, Messiah, worshiping control, which is worshiping of your own abilities. Other huge mistake. The cure is twofold. One is objectivity. How objective are you about yourself? I'm not talking about saying, oh yeah, no, I'm kind of good. I don't know. It's like really clear. I suck at this. If you are unclear on what you're great at, where to best put your stuff, all that kind of stuff, you don't have a big enough vision. The bigger the vision, the clearer it is for you where you can do things and get results and where you cannot. If I dropped $1 million business on most of you, you'd go, I need to hire for this. I need to hire for this. I need to hire this so that I can just focus on this. So now I'm asking you to objectively look at what you are doing, your business, what you're trying to create. What are you doing? If it's sales, what's getting in the way of 25 sales a day? I don't wake up early enough, or I stopped focusing. I don't have the funds. Whatever it is, then deal with it. Fix it. Enlarge your vision. The second thing is humility. You have to be humble enough to say what you're bad at and what you're great at. False humility is a disease that I hope to rid of this world, because all it says is, I'm not that great at this, even though I am, so I'm not going to steward this gift to actually create what I want. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. The world needs more people that are really good at things. But if we don't know where to go, if I'm looking for this person and I tell the person, are you good at this? Because I need your help. And they're like, I'm all right. Guess who I'm not going to? I don't want the person that's all right. I want the person that's great. I've been yelling at you. Q&A. If you need to jump off the call, jump off the call. Adam Pixler.
That step one that you just mentioned of just kind of overcoming our personal hurdles. What are maybe some strategies or some tips to kind of help us tell ourselves to say, okay, one of my problems is like transitioning, just kind of like getting that thing going. Because once I get it going and I get it churning, I'm really, really good at that. It's just sometimes I'm a firm believer that sometimes the first step is the hardest of all, right? So
yeah,
what are some strategies of that kind of thing to get it churning?
What are you trying to build in the most practical sense? Tell me dollar amount, tell me impact.
we need to get to at least 10 clients by the end of the quarter. But right now I'm just kind of transitioning from doing, one or two other things to now like diving into just being really into this nonprofit division, just, getting.
Okay, real quick. Tell me, this is great. Tell me dollar amount and impact. Don't worry about the transition yet. We'll get there.
Fine, $120,000 and huge impact for the agency to give us more cash flow, more income for the team.
Define huge impact.
Huge impact will be assisting a team member to quit their day job to come with us full time. There's one impact for a person. Another impact is I'll be able to lead a division and be able to impact. Yeah, that's what I got right now.
That's great. So here's what I'm seeing. It's the clarity of the vision and the impact in front of you. So if I was to tell you, hey, when you wake up, I want you to know that by not focusing on this, you're costing somebody a job and you're costing whatever the clarity of impact is. It would change the way that you would work.
That's good. Thank you.
No, that's great. Most of us don't have a clear, and this is me included, guys. I'm not like ahead of you. I've just studied one thing over and over and over and over again, which is people. The difference that I've noticed with a lot of the people that excel and move fast and get crazy results, they are almost annoyingly aware of what could go wrong, the cost. It isn't like a fear, anxiety. It's almost like, but these things are at risk by not doing this. And I'll be honest, I haven't mastered this. I'm not great at this. This is a weak spot for me. But this is something where it's the clarity of what you're building and the cost of not building it, the cost of not showing up, it's you going and going. It's not just that I'm going to be able to have something. It's that if I don't, these things that are not good will happen. Does that make sense, Adam?
It does.
That's a really good question.
So it's good because in that way, this day before I go to bed, first thing when I wake up, I know that vision to.
And it doesn't have to be like this whole wordy thing that you go over and you meditate.
Oh, no. Just kind of like the thought of just, a simple like, okay, well, get it done so we can achieve it. So, hey.
Yep. It'll create an urgency.
What am I waiting for? Exactly. Urgency. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
You bet. Any other questions? Randy.
So I've heard this phrase before, when you hand something off, well, I want to get your opinion on it, but you hand something off that you're good at, you got to be okay with 80%. Might actually been in Tim Ferriss's book. But is that, how do you feel about that?
I think that's great. Here's why people don't hand off, because they don't, most of the time, are unaware of their true gift and their true strength. So they think their strength is all these other things. And so because they don't realize what would happen if they purely focused on this thing and the increase it would bring, they can only see the cost of giving up something that is not their strength, is not their best thing. So you think you're doing it at 100, not you specifically. Most people think, oh, I hand off this thing and they're going to get to 80%. Well, you weren't doing it at 100. You weren't doing it at 80. You were doing it at 50 at best, because you were doing that amongst other things. So you handing it off to someone that's their pure focus and they're doing 80%, it's better than what you were doing if you've hired the right person. So I agree with it. Great question. Any other questions, guys, before we hop off? So here's what I have for you guys for homework. What is going to change? You don't have to answer that now. You can spend some time on it. People usually come off these calls and they're like, yeah, you're right, and then nothing changes. And if not, something has to change. So what needs to change? And what are you going to do to make it change? All right. You guys are rock stars. Thank you so much for today's call. And we will talk again soon. Have a good one.
Hey, I wanted to thank you for watching this video, and I picked out another video just for you. So make sure you check out that other video. And what do they need to do? Do they need to like and subscribe?
Yeah.
Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this content. What do you think?